What's up, everyone? We are back with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Time to get back to it. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by... Let's think here. I mean, I guess I could just do all of these. Wouldn't be another handprint. I'm gonna take that one off the table. Or I guess off the floor. Or off the board. Or off the board. Let's say... The board moving, perhaps? The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Ah, right. Good gracious, so it is! If the witness had put his hand against the board, the fingers should be pointing upwards. What does that tell us? It tells one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What? Yo, Gossip got that dumpy, not gonna lie. I mean, what? You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting. Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be... the position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. Oh wow, I just realized he did the sassy pose, but with... He did his sassy pose, but he no longer has the sword, so he just puts his hands on his hips. And also, he didn't even do the smile, he just looked like he was pouting, almost. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. Okay, alright, what you got? At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? Well, it would have to be, like, right here, wouldn't it?
Take that!
This is the only possible location. Oh, shit. It was... So opening the door caused it to get knocked down. Immediately adjacent to the doorway. If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier. He said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. Oh. Oh, yuck. If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view. And the light from the candles would have also been blocked, making the room appear darker.
Objection!
Oh, what do you got? But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words... Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Oh shit. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me, and no mistake. 'Cause it was me that kicked the door down. If you look again at the floor plan, you will see that you are a dumbass. Consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. Bam! Yeah! That can't... The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious! Good gazooks! My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Ugh. Damn. You okay, Cosmo? You're looking a bit hot and bothered by the flames of the court over here. And the flames of the truth and justice. Counsel, how has this not come to light before now? Because there wasn't light in the room until it was knocked over. After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it. Into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. Oh yeah. Wait, can we go... Yo, can we rewind footage or something? Because I think I just realized something with the stool sitting in the room. It looked like it had a broken leg, or like, you know, the support on the bottom of it? Like the supports that keep the legs together? I think one of those was busted. Witness, what have you to say for yourself? What? Me, my lord? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me, I get the message. Right? You know, something I realized about... You know, I mostly changed the, well, I changed Ryunosuke's outfit back for mainly the reason just because I think it suits better, and also because there's a lot of dialogue that talks about his black suit, and it's kind of jarring to have him not actually wearing it. But something that I just noticed is that we have, you know, usually black is used to depict evil and white is used to depict good, right? You know, light and dark and all, yin and yang, those type of things. But there's like, what do you call it? It's a bit of a subversion in this game because the main character, Ryunosuke, wears all black. And then we have Kazuma, who wears a white outfit, and he's the prosecution. I don't know, it's just a nice subversion. And I'm a fan of it. Anyways, the mystery of the moving board. I don't know anything about their notice board. I just wipe my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. I don't know anything about that. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. It was a Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored. Wow. I can't see how this changes anything. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. I'm an old man. So none of you can elaborate further. Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right, yeah. It don't pay to expect much. Each man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world, that's what I think. Do you? Really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot ran out, the accused was the only person at the scene. Exclamation mark after ellipses. In short, the only person who could have possibly committed this crime is Barrick von Zykes. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Wanna bet? Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances? You betcha. Most certainly, my lord. Very well, then you may proceed, counsel. And proceed we shall. The mystery of the moving board. La ba na 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 na. Dun, so you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on. Admit it? What's to admit? It's there plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint, so you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you? No, I imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man? Well, you look more powerful than the two next to you. Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver. When isn't it? In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point. Yes, it would seem. When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's the Priory School just round the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to Kingdom Come. So I've been telling on them, letting the teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see? What a racket. Of course, and sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life, selling explosives. I'm just gonna let this sit here for a bit. Maybe something will happen. No? Eh, whatever. Venus is a guileful goddess indeed. Well, telling barefaced lies is a... Oh my god. Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it. What do you got, old man?
Excuse me!
Chotomate. Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich. If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it? No. Miss Venus's statement just now brings something to mind, perhaps. No man. Yeah, sorry. I didn't get a large amount of sleep last night. Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Huh? Let's say there was a great liar. And that great liar said, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth, in which case she's not a liar? Oh, it is a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think? Did we just get sidetracked and that meant nothing? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But, it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? The way he just looks over with that sound effect. What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about. You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady. So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Can you elaborate, please, sir? Yeah, I guess so. The old blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten liar over there. Wow. Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all? Stop striking matches on your ass. What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned it. Good to know that there's someone just casually committing perjury out here. Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief!
Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yes.
Either you clearly remember it or you don't. Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh yes, my lord, of course.
Bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Damn, we're only on the second statement. What was I gonna do? Where is... Huh? I guess I can't look at people's. I was gonna check out the 3 people we have on stage here. Or on stand, whatever. You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'd take everything I say with a big pinch of salt.
I'm giving her, like... I don't know what voice to give her. I give her, like, a combination of, like, British and frickin' Southern. It's very strange. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with it, though. It's unique enough. We'll just keep it. Alright, but you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please. As if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know?
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I had a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once-over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right. Now I hesitate to ask, but... You didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had.
The truth, please.
Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flip the blasted thing.
Oh my god, the sound effects. You're telling us that you did move the board?
I think that did slip out, didn't it?
You daft bombpot.
I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
Sheriff, you don't think. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell?
Oh, please, I should be so lucky. In my
The truth, now.
I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. But a bit of junk this can't be worth my... Ah! So it was you, was it? You're the one what took it.
Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wand it up every evening without fail when he was looking for his grub to come at the pub. Waiting.
I see.
I swapped it off him once, and blimey was he upset. He gave me a rod-earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing and wanting it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for, then.
It's not all that, though. I took it to James that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. I knew I should have lifted it.
Damn. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done.
Not a chance. I'll swap it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again. Yo, cat fight. Fight, fight, fight. That's enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith. Now, now, children, watch your manners. Ah, now we can look at stuff. What are the ages of people here? 40... Oh, 24. Is Ryunosuke on here? No, he is not. It's weird to think that Susato's younger than Gina. That is an imagery. Oh, we don't even know these three's age. Huh. That is a portrait right there. Alright. Anyways, I was just curious about that. Good lord! The glass appears to be broken. More than likely. It shattered when the inspector was shot.
It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabes didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed, it appears to have stopped at the hour 5. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then.
Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
Alright. No longer ticking and the glass over the face is cracked. Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least. Hold up. I think there's obvious stuff that we need to check out here. There's a tiny little stub sticking out from the small hole here, look.
I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time.
That case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of the watch, probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it?
Yes, of course.
Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. Interesting. What about this side? I don't really know much about pocket watches. Ah, there's a tiny little keyhole here, can you see?
Oh yes, it's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism.
It looks a little unusual, don't you think?
Yes. You'd need just the right key to wind it, I imagine.
Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole.
It'd be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found.
Oh. It's this, isn't it? Do we get something different now if we examine it? Yep, it's the same shape. Mrs. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch?
Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose.
Alright. Yeah. I knew it. A perfect fit.
And look, the inspector's watch has started going again.
Ah, so it has obviously not just been wound... So it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mrs. Sato?
Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications.
She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I'd better start thinking deeply too. Finn wound it up, it started ticking again. Alright, good to know, good to know. And as predicted, it has very little bearing on the case. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yeah. There's that Reaper, I bet he's got a face that screams. And let's just press some more stuff. But you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you?
Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my son up high.
So you did go to see what had happened.
It's not the destination that's important, it's how you get there, isn't it?
Did you notice the notice board in the room? Did you notice board? What did... I'm trying to think of a joke. Hey, did you notice board? No, I didn't notice board. I don't know. There's a joke to be made somewhere that's better than what I just made. If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family. So if I spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out of a sense of rivalry, I admit. Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo sinians. See that? Well, that was a better joke than me, probably. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board? Did you not notice board? I did not notice board. I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me, just a sign at the crossroads of life. In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board? I don't notice board.
Hold it!
You have a face that screams bored. What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, come on, no, don't tell me. Don't tell us you've not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. But not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You could see it in his eyes. He likes the board because he knows that board. I can't say I've ever noticed. I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor. Or off the Reaper. Not for a second. Sorry? Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a fiend like that might do if you look away, do you? If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Well, I didn't notice the board. Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it if he'd heaved the thing upright again and dragged it into the corner. Right. Glad we've cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, Kazuma. They are both in eternal pain.
Hold it!
Alright. Enough talking about boards. Unless we're talking about cutting boards, but there's a lot of those if you look around. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it? Maybe the notice board fell over, maybe it didn't, maybe I fell over, maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way, because of that gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too. My fate? Watashi no unme. So, the defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So we can just find some problem with that part of the story. It may be possible to change all our fates. The future is not written. Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it? Alright. Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Kazuma is right and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I've no doubt there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track, I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Trust your instincts! Alright then. We've got to figure out who knows this board. And a little peek into the room. Maybe this?
Objection!
Nope, that didn't work. My lord, there are clearly grounds for being suspicious of that last statement. I'm sorry, Counsel, but I fail to see why. Well, you know, I was just playing devil's advocate. Yes, you do appear to have something of the devil in you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Says the man merrily dishing out penalties.
Hey, of course he's gonna do it merrily. He's Saint Nick. Let's see. Behind gossip, and have a little peek into the room where it all happened. It's gotta be this statement. Oh, maybe I just present this. That seems simple.
Objection!
Yeah, there we go. That's all it was. I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case. Oh. At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key? And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of the most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What? Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. But counsel, the watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is just when we heard the gunshots.
It is exactly the hour.
The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down.
It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Oh. Even if that's true, the 3 witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection!
Oh, hell no. No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago.
The boss used to wander up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing and wanding it. It meant the word to him, that watch did.
The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day, in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well. Yes, that would be entirely reasonable. But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Oh, hi! Well, how do you explain it then?
In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean... What would stop a man winding his watch if he'd been in the habit of winding it every single day for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Mo shinderu. Order! Counsel, that is a most extraordinary claim.
Objection!
Oh, now what? Now what, my friend? Extraordinary isn't the word, it's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before. Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that?
Well, we don't really have the best experiences with coroners, really. But on that subject, there was something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted.
That's right. Wait a minute. You're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door open. What do you mean? Like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty gray puddle of blood. Yes, so the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh. He catches on fast, doesn't he?
Objection!
But that blood could be explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body. Oh my god, that is a phrase I was not expecting Kazuma to say. Damn, he picked that one up from Von Zykes. Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner?
Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course.
Oh, shit.
We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities. So then, a chicken's blood could have been used, for example.
It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all.
Ooh.
Objection!
Oh, now what? But the gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. Is it, though? Is it? What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what those witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all.
Oh, please, what are you trying to say?
This lot know what we heard, and it was a loud bang that came from that there room. No, you listen to me. A street sailor's ears are his livelihood. I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise. Huh? Explain yourself then, Counsel. A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with a bada bing, a bada boom.
Take that!
Well, the culprit could have used something like this, for example. Oh, really? Demonstration is in order, I feel. What? Yes, please show the court how you could use that to create a noise like a gunshot. We're waiting, Counsel. I may have been mistaken. What do you mean? It looks like you've been making a lot of noise yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah! Kazuma's got a devastating way with words in English, too.
I realize it may be difficult to retract what you said and present some different evidence, but perhaps...
Yes, I was thinking the same thing myself. I thought it would be this. Is there something I gotta examine? There's literally nothing to examine here. What is this? Oh.
Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like.
Shall we find out?
What? But it could blow... Oh, God. Alright, that was a fairly sizable bang.
My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. It sounded almost exactly like...
Okay, there we go. That's all I need to do. Explain yourself, you little bitch.
Take that!
Here we go. Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot. Good gracious! The very fireworks that are sold by the witness.
No, hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it? Are you saying I did it? Well, pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway, see?
Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of those fireworks off at the scene. I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day, and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for those peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
Oh? But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gunshot or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bane was Barrick von Zykes.
One whiff of a match and my firecrackers go pop. See, it's why people like them.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection!
That's what I've been worrying about. Like she freaking kisses those things before they explode. Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learnt of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb. Yeah, I was about to say, my first thought is that, where is it? This got blown up. We know that it got blown up. And it didn't blow to the same height as the others. So my thought is, what if there was like a firecracker attached to the back of this? And it was a time bomb in the way that once the candle gets short enough, it'll light the fuse for the firecracker. That would be my first guess.
Good heavens, a bomb?
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like, whenever you like.
Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
No, wait, it's the whenever you like part that's important. A time device? Yes, exactly, a time device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left.
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, Counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a time device was employed to create the gunshot sound?
Take that!
This? As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of the candles in this candelabrum has been blown off.
Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet which presumably passed through the victim.
I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible. Why? Because of the scorching. There are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle.
There are? Goodness, yes! But is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range. A matter of centimeters from the gun.
Oh!
Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of a gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks.
How could that be, eh?
The fact that there's such a visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. Yep. The culprit somehow attached the firecrackers at a point partway down the candle, after the killer had left the scene. The candle slowly burned down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud bang. And that is how these three witnesses came to believe they'd heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock.
Well, what a plot!
Yeah, I know, this game does have a pretty nutty plot, doesn't it?
And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we've been led to believe. The previous day, even. No, just hold your horses. All us lot here saw the victim going into the building, remember?
I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair, even if I wanted to. The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this.
Oh,
Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw entering the building 15 minutes before the incident occurred could easily have been someone else entirely wearing this red hairpiece.
someone else? Do you mean to say...
It was the same person who contrived the firecracker trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. What? Wow, who finds something funny?
Oh.
Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kazuma? I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? Why, thank you. I also noted the lack of a time of death in this report. A stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Damn.
Order, order, order. Prosecutor Sogi. What on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today. So we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked. God, I love this version of his theme. All three versions are great, but this one gives off a certain vibe that I am all about. The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stopped watch is just conjecture. But, while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigation work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard?
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent what case the man was pursuing, wouldn't you, my learned friend?
I do have a feeling about the case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree. Surely. My lord, the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated by Inspector Gregson at the time of his death.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
Take that!
Yes. I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League?
So, you'd already worked it out.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
I don't know. We'll have to find out next time on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ja, matane.